Welcome to In Conversation With, a partnership between the Children's Trust and Miami's community newspapers. I'm Natalia Zea, Chief Public Policy and Engagement Officer for the Children's Trust. And joining me today is Jim O'Connor. He is the new chief in the new Office of Drowning Prevention, formed in part thanks to the initiative that we're going to be talking about. The Office of Drowning Prevention is housed within Miami-Dade County Parks, Recreation, and Open Spaces. Drowning is the leading cause of accidental death for kids ages 1 to 14 here in Miami-Dade County. It is a major issue that prior to this initiative did not have a large-scale solution in place here in Miami-Dade County. And I'm excited to tell you all about the different steps that were taken to try to resolve this issue. This is the discussion around Zero Drownings Miami-Dade, which is a collaborative initiative with a ton of partners. I'm going to list them all right now. The Children's Trust, Miami-Dade County, Miami-Dade County Public Schools, the Miami Foundation, the American Red Cross, the Edu Foundation, the Templeton Family Foundation, the Parks Foundation, I didn't think I said that one, United Way Miami. This is a whole collaborative of people who are working together right now and investing time, effort, and resources into trying to reach 20,000 children every single year with critical drowning prevention skills. Now let's chat. Welcome, Jim, to In Conversation With. Thank you for being here.
Thank you, Natalia, for asking me to be here.
No problem. So, Jim, you have dedicated your career to making sure that young people know how to swim. Your entire career. You are nearing retirement, and this has been your life's work. Why have you chosen this path?
I started off, in my teens as a lifeguard. Then I became a swim instructor. When I went to the University of Oregon, I ended up lifeguarding and coaching swimming at the University of Oregon. I received a research grant to study accidental drownings in the United States. That paid for my grad school. Once I graduated from the University of Oregon, I moved here to Miami and got a job at the Red Cross. And then a few years later, I kind of started my career with Miami-Dade County. Okay.
Can you tell me a little bit about what it means to you to be the first chief in the Office of Drowning Prevention in our community?
It's very exciting. I kind of really started this project, believe it or not, about 35 years ago when I was with the Red Cross. And I really had an opportunity at that time to go to the school board, go to the county commission, and really talk about the importance of children learning how to swim and preventing drowning and water safety in our community. And it's really come about after all those years.
And it's a really exciting time because you specifically, when we began this process, I remember with many of the partners, were the one who set everybody on the right course of the path that we should take. And so now it's coming to fruition, which we're going to talk about. We're going to get to. Can we talk a little bit about why this matters so much here in Miami-Dade? We said that statistic, it's very sobering, but why do you think so much here in our community?
It's kind of the same reason that people move to South Florida. What do we have here that other parts of the country don't have? Number one, we have water everywhere. Be it at the ocean, be it at our canals, be it at our lakes, home swimming pools. I'm going to tell you right now, the state of Florida leads the nation in residential pools. Believe it or not, we have 1.59 million residential pools in the state of Florida.
Wow.
And so that's a pool for every 14 people, if you can imagine. Wow. So water is everywhere. And the other thing we have is sunshine. It's summer year round. If you're in New York or something, you don't necessarily go to the beach in January and February. But here in Miami, we go to the beach. And we enjoy the aquatic environment year round.
So all of that positivity here around the water also means that there is an inherent risk connected to the water for kids.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so that's kind of why, thanks for that. It's kind of why I know, started Zero Drownings Miami-Dade, right? And for those who are just tuning in and just learning about this, Zero Drownings Miami-Dade, as you know, is a collaborative among so many different organizations that I named off the top. Our goal is to make sure that we can reach at scale 20,000 kids every single year, mostly 4 and 5 and 6-year-olds, so that they can receive 10 free swim lessons as a field trip during their school day. Can we talk about how that differs from maybe some of the other programs that are already in existence in Miami-Dade?
Sure. Municipalities, private swim providers are really doing an excellent job in the summertime when the kids are out of school, teaching kids to swim. And that's, I would say probably 90% of all swim lessons that are taught in Miami-Dade are just during the time when the kids are out of school. Unfortunately, they kind of forget about, water safety and swim lessons the rest of the year. And that's what's so great about this program is, we hear a lot of things from parents why they don't take swim lessons. One is, they're working, they don't have time. Okay, so this program actually transports, and we pay for transporting the children through Miami-Dade County Public Schools and also through the county, through our Cash D program, where we'll transport those kids to the pools from the daycare centers, from the preschools, from the kindergartens. So the kids are transported to the pools. The parents don't need to worry about getting the pools from their home or the kids from their home to the actual pool. So that's something that's great. The second thing is it's free. Okay. So there's no cost involved. There can't, one of the things we don't want a parent ever saying is, I can't afford to teach my child how to swim.
Yeah, and that's why I think the Children's Trust and United Way and Templeton Family Foundation and the Edu Foundation and the others have worked together to try to contribute as funders what we can to help support the operations, because it's not easy necessarily, and we don't want parents to have to bear the cost if we can avoid it. And 10 days of swim lessons is pretty substantial. It's not a full learn to swim summer program, but substantial enough to protect kids and make sure that this is about drowning prevention. Can you talk a little bit about why, when we were crafting this model, why the ages of 4 and 5 are an ideal target?
One of the reasons, as you mentioned, that is a high risk group for drowning. Okay. The children, they're running, they're walking at that age. Their motor skills and their mental skills are being developed to a point where now they can meet the requirements in a swim competency program. Also, mentally, they're able to comprehend the importance of water safety. And that's a big component of our program, is also the education on teaching the child, where to swim, where not to swim, and how to safely be on, in, and around the water.
And is it accurate that the younger the kids are, potentially the more at risk they are around the water?
Yeah, absolutely. And, that's the stats, that are out there. Actually, the 1 to 4 age group is the highest rate of drowning of any age group.
And speaking of those who are most vulnerable, children with disabilities, we know that as part of this initiative and this great project that we get to work on together, that we are making sure this is an inclusive program for kids with disabilities, especially focusing on those maybe on the autism spectrum scale, on the autism disorder scale, and others with similar neurological disabilities. Can we talk about what the program is doing to address that, and kind of a little bit about how we got started on that? Because some of us are maybe not experts in that specific type of swim lesson.
Sure. First of all, I'm going to throw out another stat for you. Children with autism are 160 times at a higher risk than non-autistic children for drowning. Oh. Why is that? Well, number one, they have a tendency to wander. Children with autism, and so they like to wander. And the second thing that people don't understand is they're naturally attracted to water because it's very soothing for an autistic child in terms of it makes them feel relaxed, it cuts down the senses, the noise, and so they want to be in the water.
And so this program, can we talk a little bit about the steps that were taken as we were developing what this will look like for children with autism?
Sure. So, just children with disabilities in general, we've mandated that, 15% of the children that we reach are going to be that segment of the population. The other thing is we take great care in making sure we make accommodations for those children in our swimming program, be it ADA swim lifts that we require at every single pool, or being able to reduce the instructor to child ratio so we can accommodate those children.
And we even formed a specific expert work group in helping to develop to make sure that the curriculum is appropriate, make sure the conditions are appropriate, and that's another group of people that came in to support this initiative. Let's talk about another very important group of people. So we've got Zero Drownings Miami-Dade focused on the kids and trying to expand the number of kids that are in 10-day swim lessons. Mm-hmm. In addition, we know that their parents and caregivers are essential to keeping them safe, right? So not just the kids that'll be in this program, but any parent or caregiver who's watching this now. What would be some of the key takeaways that you would want them to know about water safety?
Well, first of all, we are educating the parents as part of this program. Mm-hmm. One of the neat things that we've been able to do is there is a American Red Cross online course that we're offering to the parents. Mm-hmm. That course is not only offered in English, it's also offered in Spanish. And for the first time ever, because of this program and we were working with American Red Cross, we actually developed a Haitian Creole online water safety course. It's not only used here in Miami-Dade County, but throughout the United States. So that's really exciting. So that's one thing. The second thing, not only for these parents, but the community as a whole, we constantly stress water safety. So that parent needs to know the importance of not only making sure their child knows how to swim, but also to make sure that they always supervise their child in, on, and around the water. Okay. We have an initiative where we educate parents on something we call a water watcher.
Hold that up so we can see.
And once again, all of our materials in 3 languages. Mm-hmm. So this would be an example of a water watcher card. And what this is if you're having a pool party, let's say, at your house, one responsible adult needs to be assigned as a water watcher. They would wear this badge and wear it proudly. You have to understand, they can't be flipping burgers when they're wearing this. We want them to have their cell phone nearby, but we don't want them to be on their cell phone.
Got it.
They have one job and one job only, and that's to watch the kids.
And is that's something for all age groups of kids that are around the water? And I know when I was a reporter, we covered a lot of tragedies where children would drown with a whole party full of adults next to them. And maybe and that must be why we need to have this level of diligence on who watches.
Right. And, swimming pools, the beaches, it's a great place. I work for the Parks Department. I'm so excited about that. We always stress the importance of how fun it is to be in the water. What a great fitness, training it is to have swimming. Especially in South Florida, you want to go there on a hot day to cool off. So there's so many benefits, but unfortunately, parents, unless they also recognize some of the risk associated with water, there can be a very tragic accident, especially for young children. And that's why we're trying to educate them on the importance of water safety. They need to watch their children around the water, teach them how to swim, have barriers around the pools and alarms coming out of the house. And so if they go into to take a load of wash out of the washer, that's all it takes really for that child to get outside and potentially, fall into a swimming pool.
So pool fencing and any other kind of barriers that are there. And I think there are some programs too that can help support that if that is an expense for parents as well.
Yeah, there is. I know the health department has some free alarms that they give out and also just, education on having those four-sided, 4-foot high fences around their pools and with self-closing, self-locking gates.
Got it. That makes sense. And so as the Office of Drowning Prevention, and you are now a team of 4, which is very exciting, and we thank very much the Mayor Levine Cava, we thank Superintendent Dotris, and we thank our President and CEO, James Hodge, for having the foresight to say yes to this project and to really invest in this project and commit to it in a way that once we get to the point that Zero Drownings Miami-Dade is at scale, that we're reaching new levels in the community that have not been reached in this area. Without our bosses, this wouldn't happen. So we
Absolutely.
appreciate it. But as our partner, that's the boots on the ground or the fins in the water, and you've got a whole network of pools that are going to come on board for this. But you also, as working in the county, I know the Parks Department has a ton of public pools, and we're bringing on municipal partners, we're bringing on private partners. Can you talk a little bit about the network of pools that are available and could be used for this program?
Sure. I mean, right now we've engaged 11 municipalities besides Miami-Dade County to join our program
Already.
Already.
And we're only in year one. We
right.
haven't specified that yet.
Along with some really great, private learn-to-swim providers that are in the loop right now to join. So we're excited about that. And I think one of the neat things about this program, even though it is geared towards a specific age group, is it allows us to also encourage those kids, once they complete our program, to sign up for other lessons, and also other children in the family that we reach and throughout the community to sign up for swim lessons, which they can do with all of the great partners that we have. Okay.
No, that's a great point, because and while this is a drowning prevention program, that is 1,000% our goal, we may end up with some really great swimmers out of this who it turns them on to a love of swimming, and who knows what they'll go on to do.
And it really should be a life skill.
Yeah.
And that's, something, it's not something you're born with, but it's something you need to learn. And that's what we strive for.
Absolutely. Can we talk a little bit about, so as we mentioned off the top, I should have said a timeline because we're in a timeline. We're in year one of what we have been planning for a 3-year ramp up of this program, because anything big cannot be rushed that quickly. And so in year one, looking at where we are, we've already, since October, you've served more than 1,300 kids so far. And that's just since October, and including the holidays, which, there's time away, et cetera. What would you say are some of the real best things that have come out that we've seen in this very first year? Even though the school year is not done, we're still going. But what have we seen so far?
I think just how the community has really responded, and how excited they are about the program, and how they realized how important a program this is. Like I mentioned, we've engaged, 11 municipalities. We've had the opportunity to go before many of their city councils. No one has said no. Okay. The only thing we've heard back is, I want more pools involved. So that's been the response from the community. And she mentioned the mayor and the superintendent. They've really made it happen, and been so supportive on it. And it's a no-brainer. Okay, we need to teach our kids to swim. We need to promote water safety. And we need to make sure that we prevent drownings here in our community.
Absolutely. And in the video, I have to say, because, we shot some video, at the beginning of this year, which I'm sure will be included in this interview. Seeing the child, one of the children, going from crying the first day, afraid to get in the water, to the 10th day, swimming and kicking and happy and able to propel, that's got to be meaningful for you as somebody who this is your expertise, right? I mean, what does that feel like when you see these kids walking away with those skills that you just want them to have for their lives?
Well, if we show the video, you're going to see it not only in the child's face, but also in the instructor's face. And that's kind of how I feel too. I mean, when you see the child, learning those propulsion skills, being able to jump in, turn around, return to the wall, and, get at a position of safety, that's just so exciting for someone that's been, fearful of the water. Okay, and not wanting to even put their, big toe in it. And so that's extremely exciting. And when you see those things, you really know how worthwhile this program is.
Absolutely. There will be folks that watch this that'll say, I want my kid to do this program. I want to sign up my child. And so just for a little bit of clarity, that the way that we're doing this is in a very uniform fashion, because in order to scale it, it's not a free-for-all for the whole community at this time. We're focusing to start on specific child care centers. The school system is identifying schools for kindergartners, and Head Start centers are included. And so what parents will find is that while they cannot rush to a website and maybe sign up their child, they may very soon be getting a notification from their child's teacher, if they are in a pre-K 4 or in kindergarten, saying this class was chosen for Zero Drownings Miami-Dade. To parents who have that opportunity, what should they do when they get that notification from the teacher?
Sign up. Okay. And I just want to assure those parents, we've really thought about the safety of this program. Okay, we've made sure that all of our instructors are certified and meet the guidelines of the American Red Cross. We have a lifeguard on the chair during every single class. We do level 2 background checks of all of our instructors. All of our pools are inspected by the health department. Okay, so, we've screened the program and the swim instructors for the parents. So that's why it's so exciting to, I know sometimes our parents might be fearful, but I just want to let them know that, we've thought about safety. This is such a wonderful program, and you have to really think about the pros and the cons. And the pros are that child knows how to swim, and the con is, they could have a tragic accident if they don't join up.
Okay, I understand that. And so for parents that want to learn more, or anybody who wants to learn more, they can visit Drowningsmiami-Dade.org. It's being housed in the county's website, and we're working on a brand new website. Again, this is a 3-year program to start. This is the first year. The next year, we're going to scale up to more kids. And by year 3, we're hopeful to reach 20,000 kids every single year. Final word on this, Jim, what does Zero Drownings Miami-Dade really mean to you?
Well, I just want to talk about, drowning prevention in general. It's not an incurable disease, okay? We have a cure, okay? And that's really to teach those kids in Miami-Dade County how to swim. It's also to educate the parents, educate the general public on the importance of water safety. If you get on a boat in Miami-Dade County, put a life jacket on, all aspects of water safety. And we want to make sure that in Miami-Dade County we have, what's the number of drownings we want to have?
0. Trying to get to 0 drownings, Miami-Dade.
Fantastic. And that would be so exciting.
Well, thank you so much for joining us today, and looking forward to continuing our work together as we scale this program. Thank you, Jim.
Thank you.
So you heard it from our chief in the Office of Drowning Prevention in our community. This is not an incurable disease. 0 drownings Miami-Dade is our mission. It's not just our name. It's our mission as well. And if your classroom, your child's classroom is selected to participate in these swim lessons, we certainly hope that you will say yes and take advantage of this program. And if you have kids who are older, please look at Drowningsmiami-Dade.org. There are other links to other resources for swim lessons and opportunities that exist in our community outside of this program as well. And like Jim said, please make sure that you are watching the water, that you are being careful around water when it comes to your kids. We cannot be too careful. Thank you so much. This is the end of our time for this episode. Thank you for joining In Conversation With, a partnership between the Children's Trust and Miami's community newspapers.